Tonight on To The Point.
Teachers are there to teach, not to be the gender police.
The debate over parental notification in California schools, why some lawmakers are trying to ban these policies statewide, a historic ship sinking in the Delta, the race to stop it as fuel and oil leak into the water, plus fighting global fever, the possible solution to keep temperatures down and bring more greenscapes to the city, and later, preserving history of those buried in Auburn's Chinese cemetery, how families are creating new traditions. Thanks so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. New developments in the ongoing fight over parental notification policies in California schools. In general, that's a policy that requires teachers and staff to notify a student's parent if that student asks to go by a different name or gender. And a handful of school districts have adopted such policies with backlash and even lawsuits from state leaders. Now, as ABC 10's Becca Habegger reports, some lawmakers are trying to ban these policies statewide.
20-year-old Kai remembers coming out as transgender to his 6th grade teacher.
So I came out to my teacher first, and she was so accepting and so kind to me. And if I didn't have that first adult to come out to and to, get that support from, I don't think I would have had the strength to tell my parents.
They graduated in 2022 from Rockland Alternative Education Center in the Rockland Unified School District. That's one of a handful of school districts statewide that have recently adopted a controversial parental notification policy. It requires teachers and staff to tell a student's parents if that student asks to go by a different name or gender. Kai got to tell their parents when they were ready and wants that for other students.
I think if we can ban the schools from these parental notification, policies, it's going to make sure that so many kids are able to continue their lives and come out when they're ready, when they're safe.
Having a trusted adult is paramount.
Kai was among the speakers at a news conference Wednesday morning. Democratic Assemblymember Chris Ward unveiled an updated bill, AB 1955, that would ban California school districts from enacting such parental notification policies.
To try to make sure that we were consistent across all California schools and importantly protect all California youth from some of these very draconian and horrible forced outing policies.
I think it's a really powerful statement to the LGBTQ community that they are valued and that we're not going to let extremist boards bully them.
Meg Weiss is chapter chair of the Placer County Our Schools USA and advocates for students in the LGBTQ community. She says the proposed legislation would also protect from retaliation teachers who object to outing a student to their parents.
Teachers are there to teach, not to be the gender police.
But people in favor of parental notification policies say enacting a statewide ban on such policies would undermine parents and ultimately hurt kids.
We don't want to be legislated out of the process.
Leah Tuifua has 4 kids in the Rockland School District and one who already graduated. She thinks parents should be kept in the loop on something as important as their child's gender identity.
I think that parents do have a fundamental right to be involved in really important decisions in their kids' lives. I really do believe that people on both sides of this issue think that they're doing the best thing for kids. But I just disagree.
In response to this proposed legislation, Republican Assemblymember Bill Asaley said in a statement, "If this bill passes, I dare Governor Newsom to sign this bill into law so that we can immediately challenge it in court."
All right, let's bring in Becca Habegger, who has been following this. And Becca, we should point out Rockland's policy is not enforced right now, right?
Right. Pending some legal challenges by the Rockland Teachers Professional Association and a lawsuit from the State Department of Education. And now that is pending at this moment, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, and we also know that top elected leaders, they have come out against parental notification policies, right?
Yeah, including the governor, state superintendent of public instruction, and state attorney general. Now, the bill's sponsor told me he's hoping to pass a statewide ban on parental notification policies in part to help settle the matter, since, as I mentioned, there are some legal challenges. In fact, Rockland USD has a hearing coming up just next month with its lawsuit against, or the state's lawsuit against the district.
Yes, a lot of moving parts. We'll continue to follow this for you. And Becca, thank you so much for the update. All right, and today's updated bill was introduced at a very busy time at the Capitol. Lawmakers have until Friday to pass hundreds of bills in their first House meeting. On Tuesday, the Assembly and Senate passed about 330 bills combined, leaving more than 530 still to be voted on. And happening right now, crews are working in the Delta to contain a gas leak and secure a ship that is sinking. The San Joaquin Sheriff's Office says they got a call this morning about the Aurora ship possibly sinking, and later they found a hole that was causing the ship to take on water. Since then, multiple state and local agencies have been trying to prevent any gas or oil from further contaminating the water. And right now, law enforcement are working to find out who owns the ship and what caused the hole to develop. It's unknown just how long this cleanup will last and how expensive it might get. And our next story, a Stockton pizza owner, shop owner is completely fed up and needs your help catching burglars. David's Pizza on Hammer Lane is now offering one free large pizza per month for 2 years to the person who finds these burglars. Take a look at your screen right now. Police say these two entered the pizza shop possibly using a key around 3 a.m. on Monday. The thieves allegedly took a coin machine loaded with nearly $600.
Yeah, it's just a little bit disappointing with the lack of humanity that seems to be with some individuals. It's pretty sad.
Stockton police are asking anyone with information to contact them, and the owner says he's also accepting information related to this case by phone or through social media if you want to reach out to him. And right now, several businesses in the Northgate community are frustrated and fed up dealing with ongoing issues and crime in the area. Tonight, Sacramento police and other officials plan to hear them out and address their problems. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias shares more on what these businesses are facing.
Thank you. Have a good day. Okay, see you soon.
A to Z Convenience Store, a family-owned business, has served customers off Northgate Boulevard for about 8 years. But since the pandemic hit, the manager says he's noticed a wave of crime and issues arise at the store.
The main problem is the homeless problem and the people's attitude.
Surrender Bandwidth says he and employees have faced harassment, had their tires slashed, cars keyed, and dealt with theft regularly.
Sometimes they say, what you can do? If I say something, they can slap you. They did a couple times. Look the glass over here. That glass, they broke it like that.
Here's another example caught on camera of a dine and dash at Algo Bueno when a man walked out without paying about $200 worth of food and drinks. The Sacramento Hispanic Chamber of Commerce says it was made aware of some of these instances during a monthly meeting they've been holding through programming, and they realized businesses were not reporting much of the crime.
There's just this feeling that, well, even if we call, no one's going to come, and so we're just going to deal with it and figure things out. But the reality is you need help, and you, with our police department and with code enforcement and all the partners here, there's a lot of people that just want to make sure the businesses are thriving.
Kathy Rodriguez Aguirre says a big part of that is making sure the businesses feel safe. Therefore, they're hosting a meeting on Wednesday night with partners like Sacramento Police and Code Enforcement.
Safe place for them just to share, this is what's going on with my business, this is what I'm really concerned about, and I'm worried that no one is paying attention to what's happening.
And with this conversation, they'll be able to start developing a good relationship in the area. Sacramento police say they want to hear how they can collaborate with other city entities to solve some of these issues. But the manager of A&Z says he'd like to see some more patrolling.
We can ask just a little bit, you guys can come every hour, 2 hours, just hanging around, look the area, what's going on.
In Sacramento, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
And tonight's meeting is being held at the Sanford Settlement Building. It starts at 7 and all businesses are welcome to come. Still ahead onto the point, fighting global fever. What's being done to keep temperatures down and bring more greenscape to the city?
We're tracking a chance for showers for part of that Memorial holiday weekend forecast, plus a bit of a warm up in store as well.
And later, preserving history, how descendants of those buried in a local Chinese cemetery are trying to create a new tradition.
Qingming is essentially where the families come to their ancestors' grave sites. They clean them, they make offerings.
All right, Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods with a look at our weekend. Right around the corner, already a holiday weekend.
I know, a 3-day weekend is nearly upon us, and the unofficial start to summer. Now, initially, it's not going to feel like it. We've been seeing highs generally right above average. Not much, nothing extreme or record territory. Average high 82 degrees, and that's how we started off the work week, and then we warmed conditions up with those northwest winds to the upper 80s. I know it's been a bit of a touch of warmth out there. Up and down the valley, mid to upper 80s for today. Along the coast, we've already started to see that cooling trend, down to 68 today for San Francisco. Now, we will see even cooler conditions to start us off for the holiday weekend. Current winds 15 miles per hour coming in from the southwest. That is ushering in some of that cooler Pacific air. Tonight, beautiful for that evening walk. We'll drop those temperatures into the 70s by 8 p.m. with a forecast low of 55. Our Memorial Day weekend, a cool start, a warmer end, even some showers that I'm tracking. Also, those waterways, they're still cold, fast, and high. A couple of low pressure systems are going to suppress that high pressure ridge that's been bringing some of the warmth. So we're tracking the chance for some showers mainly overnight Friday and through early Saturday. The best chance will be Northeast California and also throughout the Pacific Northwest. That will last into early Saturday, and then that high pressure ridge is right back with us. And with that, we bring back the warmer temperatures. By the end of the holiday weekend, we're back above average, almost near 90, but not quite. Highs in the 60s tomorrow for the Sierra with 70s for the foothills. Across the coast, we're going to keep it in the 60s. Inland areas, we're still in the 80s for tomorrow afternoon before we start to see those conditions getting a bit cooler by the end of the work week and into the beginning of the holiday weekend. For the Tahoe Basin, mainly a dry forecast for that holiday weekend. And for the valley, again, a cool start, a warm end, but then nothing extreme into the end of May and beginning of June.
All right, Monica, thanks. Next on To The Point, a local fire department looking to the community to help them build a brand new fire station, how much money they'll need. Plus, fighting global fever, what you can do to help keep temperatures down. Well, some people know Sacramento as the city of trees, but the city has a lot of work to do to plant more to keep up with warming climate. So tonight, ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Wood explains why and who's part of the solution.
The Sacramento region is in what's called a nature deficit.
Every time I ask the question, people to guess how much is the tree canopy in Sacramento, because it's the city of trees, they say 60, 70, 80, 90, we are doing good.
30% is considered healthy, but some estimates have the city tree canopy as low as 14%. A concern considering their ability to provide powerful climate change solutions, helping to avoid storm runoff, absorb air pollution, and carbon pollution.
We live on a planet that's very well engineered and everything works in tandem. So it's similar to the human body. You know, if you have 100 degrees temperature, you should be concerned. And if it goes up to 103 or 104, so the body parts start failing.
Anita describes this as global fever. This line graph shows how Sacramento has seen the average number of days at 90 degrees go from 45 at the start of the 20th century to 91 today. And the average number of days above 100 degrees jumps from 6 days to 24 days.
April last year, there were about 6 of us sitting around the table talking about climate change, and we're like, can we make a difference as ordinary citizens?
The answer, yes. And the most tangible change, plant more trees.
And if you don't believe in any of the numbers out there, or the data or the issues, you can still plant trees. You know it's going to cool your neighborhoods, it's going to lower your electricity bill, it's going to increase the value of your house.
A place like Curtis Park serves as a pretty good example. As you can see, there's plenty of shade and also tree-lined sidewalks.
But just around the corner, the greenscape goes to hardscape, something the city is working to change, dedicating nearly $2 million of federal funding to create an equitable urban forest.
And that's what we're really focusing with these investments, is balancing that out so that we are the city of trees, but in every neighborhood, not just some.
It's building neighborhoods making people feel included.
Congresswoman Doris Matsui says the focus now is bringing a sustainable solution in communities where there is a lack of natural canopy or tree loss.
We're doing those, making sure that we go back again and plant new trees, and making sure some of the trees are planted in the right way now.
We have been creating this nature deficit for almost 50 years now. So it's a big task, big numbers, but it can be done.
And Anita says that San Francisco is a great example of how to plant trees within the city. They are investing in increasing their urban forest from 125,000 street-lined trees to 155,000 in the next 15 years. The Sacramento Republic FC beat the San Jose Earthquakes, which means they will advance to the next round of the U.S. Open Cup. Any moment, we will learn whether or not that game will be hosted at Cal Expo, and it comes after concerns were raised due to state fair preparation. So they released a statement today saying, in part, quote, Cal Expo will do everything we can to host a potential U.S. Open Cup game. We welcome this event and are excited for the Sacramento Republic fans. A location for the game is expected to be released later this evening. Of course, we will keep you updated on abc10.com. All right, let's get straight into your price points tonight. The Keys Fire Department is considering a bond on the November ballot that, if passed, would build them a brand new fire station. The chief says the current one is outdated and they've outgrown it. Volunteer department serves 8,000 residents and covers 22 square miles. Overall, they are looking for a $7 million facilities bond over a 30-year period, which the department says translates to property owners paying an average of $10 a month if passed.
Most cost-effective way would be to demolish this current station and then rebuild here. Just because the cost of land and properties is so high right now, we'd save almost $2 million.
The chief says they need this bond to pass because there is no plan B. After more community outreach, they hope to put the bond on the November ballot. In Placer County, a plan to rezone properties to allow for more low-income housing is moving forward. The housing has been proposed on 13 sites across the county from Granite Bay, Auburn, Dry Creek, and Penryn. The option that was approved last night removes 2 sites, makes adjustments to another site, and rezones 2 others. Right now, Placer County needs about 1,200 additional units to be in compliance with the state. Once completed, the proposed housing would be for families making less than $85,000. Continuing with our Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebration, it has been nearly 100 years since a traditional Chinese festival has taken place at the Chinese Cemetery in Auburn. And now family members of those buried there say they are going to change that. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen shares with us the history behind the Auburn Chinese Cemetery and the new traditions family members are hoping continues.
With the bangs of the gongs, to the pops of the firecrackers, and the burning of the incense. These are all the signs of the Qingming Festival.
Qingming is essentially where the families come to their ancestors' grave sites. They clean them, they make offerings.
Located off Highway 49 in Auburn, the Chinese Cemetery is where many Chinese immigrants were buried in the early 19th century. They came to the area in hopes of a better life and to look for gold. Of those buried here, some of them are related to Dustin Yu.
The reason we're here is because this is also where my ancestors were buried. There are 5 generations here.
While this cemetery is in a very busy area now, Yu says back then that wasn't the case, and it was placed here for a specific reason. Many immigrants faced discrimination.
The Chinese originally were not allowed to be buried in what you would call the regular cemetery. They had to be buried elsewhere.
Now the cemetery is maintained by the Auburn Joss House, and this year's Qingming Festival at the cemetery is a first in a very long time.
We really want to preserve the observation of Qingming because it has not been celebrated here for a good 100 years or so. 1, 2, 3, chop! We also have a whole chicken. It's called bak chit gai. They have head, tail, and feet because it symbolizes wholeness. We're presenting those along with the oranges and sweets and rice, and most important of all, wine and tea, offerings for the ancestors.
A first in nearly a century, and hopefully not the last.
It's a real honor to me to be able to do this for my ancestors, especially since nobody's done it in almost 100 years, and I was able to have the space to do this.
In Auburn, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
And the Auburn Joss House Museum at the cemetery are open on Saturdays from 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for tours and for people to visit. We have those details posted on our website, abc10.com, and we'll be right back after the break with what we're working on for tomorrow. Condemned California inmates are being moved off death row by this summer, partially because of Governor Gavin Newsom. So coming up tomorrow night at 6:30 on To the Point, we're hearing from victims' families who say this means justice will not be served. 5 years ago, the governor signed an executive order to temporarily put a stop to the death penalty, and Proposition 66, passed by voters in 2016, allows the state to move death row inmates to any California prison through a transfer program. Tomorrow, we'll share the stories of 2 victims of the speed freak killers who went on a killing spree in the 80s and 90s in San Joaquin County. Wesley Shermantine, who has been on death row at San Quentin for 23 years, will be moved, and families want their voices heard. Hear their concerns and what the governor's office has to say tomorrow night right here at 6:30 on To the Point. And if you have something you think we should be looking into, make sure to reach out to me and the team. Remember, strangers are people you just haven't gotten the chance to meet yet, so take the time to get to know someone. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.